Awesome. Okay, so just a quick little intro. My name is Fareeha. I'm a Grandmaster Pharah main, and and I'm here to teach you a little bit more about Pharah. Maybe show you guys some tips and tricks you haven't heard of before. I'm sure there's going to be something you're going to learn from today, and I'm super excited. So it's going to be awesome. Let's get right into it. So what makes Pharah so special from every other DPS in the game is that she has incredible mobility. She can reach any corner of the map she wants and actually stay there. No other DPS, no other tank, no other support can do that. And I just think that's so cool. It opens up so many possibilities, so many flanks, and so many plays that you can set up with your team. And I just think it's super exciting. And the reason why I really like her playstyle is because her damage is so high and so bursty, almost in a sense. She has this very high risk, high reward playstyle where if you do decide to go for a play, you do decide to go for a dive, it's going to be very fast, like a very fast time to kill, and they're going to just be overwhelmed. And I love that. So
I can get us started. Sorry, if you'd like.
Oh, awesome! Let's do it.
All right, sorry for the belated welcome, everybody, but yeah, welcome to the Pharah course.
Welcome, guys.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Glad to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Everyone pick fire. And meet me outside by the jump pad statue. Let's go.
Also,
Follow
please
the
don't
sound of
spam
the
your ult, just because it's on such a low cooldown.
Is it the other jump pad?
I guess if I asked people not to do it in the Diva class, I better not do it in the Pharah class.
Oh no, the Diva class must have been gorgeous.
Wait,
It was so much fun.
Struck everywhere.
We did have a few. We had a what 5-second spam session.
To get it out of the way, yeah.
Get it out of everybody's system.
That's fair.
Awesome.
I
So welcome, guys. Back to what I was saying. Farah's mobility is so incredible, and she can maintain any corner of the map. Sorry, my voice is going. Maintain any corner of the map and and use it to gain the advantage on our enemies. And what makes her kit so special, what allows her to do this is, sorry about that chopping in the background. Let me just close the door. Oh my god.
Power of Pharah. Yes.
This is a thing.
Can someone screenshot this?
Yeah, please.
The skybox is too low.
It's not symmetrical.
We're so focused right now.
Alright, so I want you guys to join me for a drill here. Do you guys all know how to fly permanently? Fly like infinitely?
No.
No?
In theory or well?
Well, okay, so this is how it's done. So you have to tap your spacebar at pretty much like tap, let go, and it's a fairly slow tap, but just don't do it too fast. It's about like just slightly faster than a second. Do you see that? And as soon as it gets to the red zone, I want you to press your jump jet and let the fuel refill all the way. Just let go of your jump pad.
Oh, no.
No.
No worries. Just give it a go again. You getting the hang of it, guys? All good?
Yeah, I think so.
Gonna fall.
Careful not to hit your head on any other fires when you're going up, because that does cut you short. The biggest thing is just to like gain elevation with the jump jet and to refuel your fuel with that. Just letting go of it. So if you guys could join me, please come over here.
Define over here.
Which one's you?
Okay, there we are.
Where are you?
She's the one with the base skin.
The classic skin, yeah. So if you guys could just follow me around here, let's take this scenic route. And if you find yourself falling too fast, you might be tapping it a little bit too quickly. So just go a little bit slower, and you'll be just fine. Got it, guys? Awesome.
Oh. I misclicked. What? Hi.
No worries, no
I'll be
worries.
back in a bit.
Oh no! I'm next.
They're dropping like flies.
The worst
That's
part is
all
that-
good. That's all good.
Oh, we stopped
This
here.
is just-
Okay.
Yeah, we just stop here. So, let's go over just a couple of quick reasons why you might have fallen. If you pressed it a bit too fast, right? You don't gain enough elevation. You don't give the chance to like have it reset, so you just die. And if that's happening, just try to tap it a little bit slower, and let it rest for a little bit more between each instance, and it's just way better like that. And also to note, if you're out of fuel, if you're really in a pinch and you're really gonna fall to your death and it's like overtime and you don't want to lose the game, just barrage and it actually refills up your meter. But because of a new change, you can't hold space and continue to hover. You actually have to repress it so you don't fall. It's a really weird change. But that just refuels your hover in a pinch in case you really do need it. But yeah,
That's cool.
Well, that's just the basics. Do you guys have any questions about that? All good?
Rude.
I do have drills to help you practice this and help you multitask this with shooting later on. I'm gonna go over that in a bit, maybe at the end of the class. You guys can just watch the stream while I'm in the practice range, and you can see what you can do for that.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next thing. Let's go back to the thing.
Concussion, my. Whoa!
Sorry.
Harsh, y'all. Harsh.
So the next thing I want to talk about with you guys is her concussive blast.
Oh
So, no worries. Death isn't permanent. Everyone dies. So, your concussive blast is a very, very important tool in your kit, and it's very key for your own mobility and sometimes to displace the enemy, but mostly for your own mobility. And you just have to know that no matter where it's placed, if you're within 10 meters of it, it's going to move you 10 meters away horizontally. It's not going to give you any vertical elevation, so even if you put it above you, it's not going to send you any lower. It won't do anything on the vertical plane. But
Oh.
yeah, and it also displaces enemies in the exact same way. So if you are aware of this range, say you're going for a boop here, you can just like experiment this on bots throughout all the maps, and you can see what angles you can go for. But this is a really cool example. Instead of going for a boop and trying to time it so that someone coming for this jump pad will get knocked off, instead of putting it somewhere here, instead of putting it somewhere like there, what you can do is just send it in this corner when they're like just about to hit the jump pad itself, and it just sends them flying off the map. It's great. But
Nice.
yeah, just little things like that. And also what your conch blast is useful for is to just like reposition yourself quickly after you've killed the target or when you're diving a target, but we'll get into that just a little bit afterwards. What you can do with your conch blast is most of you probably already know this. If you just shoot it right behind yourself, you can use it as a quick movement boost, like so. If you just turn 180 and shoot it at the floor behind you. Yeah, you got it. Nice. Another way to do this. Some say this isn't reliable. Some say it is more reliable. Instead of flicking around you, you can just look straight down, move forward, and press it, and then you just send yourself forward. But remember to move yourself forward though. You have to turn. You have to look all the way down. Just like swing your mouse as low as it can go. Almost there. Yeah, that one's a bit more unreliable, but once you get the angling down, it's a bit easier of a flick to pull off, depending on your sensitivity. But yeah. Super
Nice.
Hey, welcome.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm a horrible person.
So, all right. That's something you can chain into rockets if you want to get really specific into it. That's something you can chain into rockets, but we can talk about air shots and all that stuff later down the line. So, next thing I want to talk about is her primary fire. It's one of the slowest projectiles in the game as far as primary fire goes, and for a reason. It has extremely strong splash damage. It's the reason why Pharah is so strong when she's in the air. No other projectile hero with I think no other. Like Mei, you think of Mei, Hanzo, Genji, Junkrat maybe a little, but everyone else doesn't exactly have splash damage. They have to be dead on precise. If you can just hit their feet, however, they take a maximum of either 80 or it was 90 damage. I think it's 90 damage, right?
I thought it was 80.
80 then. Okay. But yeah, super scary regardless. And that's the reason you kind of want to be at an angle from your enemies, just so you can have an easier time shooting. Just be aware that when you're playing ground fire and you're trying to hit targets at a horizontal plane like this, it's going to be extremely hard because of how slow her projectile is compared to every other. She's meant to be played at a certain angle above the enemy, even if it's just like a 20 degree angle like this. It's gonna help you a lot. So just, even if you're fighting an enemy, just like try to get a little bit off the ground. It'll make aiming at them so much easier, and you're gonna thank yourself for it. And plus, if you give them a bit of, you give yourself a little bit of elevation to fly over them, this is just gonna confuse them. Especially if it's a skin hero, because I want you guys to do this little test for me, okay? Do you see this from this corner to this corner? I want you to trace that line for me. Trace that line from that corner to that corner. You just have to move your mouse right to left, right to left, and it's really simple. But then now look up 45 degrees from this corner to this corner. Do you realize that you have to move your mouse on a little bit of a diagonal now? And then now trace like, and the more extreme that angle gets, the more you realize that you have to like move your mouse in a U shape. And when they're almost directly on top of you, it's like it's entirely in a U shape, and it makes tracking fire really difficult. So if you can use that to your advantage and fly over hit scans at that range, you're gonna make yourself much more survivable, and you're gonna last a lot longer against the hit scans. Largely in part to the fact that they can't even see your head if you're only showing them your feet, right? Okay.
It's kind of like when Hanzo tries to headshot a sleeping target.
Yeah.
Cross instead.
But okay, I want you guys to know another really important tip against 150 HP. So namely Baby D.Va and Tracer. Yeah, there you go. And a really good tip against Baby D.Va is, I know a lot of people have a hard time hitting her. But first of all, when Baby D.Va demechs, when her mech is breaking, if you shoot it right before she ejects, it actually counts as a full direct on Baby D.Va, so that's 120 HP gone. But if you don't get that chance and she's just Baby D.Va from the get-go, what I want you to do is wait for her remech, but lurk around her, so that, say if it's like this Tracer, it's the same HP, right? What you can do is wait for her remech, wait for her to stand still, drop on her, and cancel your rocket with the melee. Try it right now, just like rocket melee instantly. It's a animation cancel that you can do with her.
Oops,
See that?
wrong one.
It looks really weird, doesn't it?
Very.
Yeah, but it's something you can do against Tracers, Divas. Hang on. So let Tripit heal up, and let me just show you. Again, on Tracers, this is a really useful thing, because if you can manage to pull this off against a Tracer, it one-shots her before she has the opportunity to rewind. And if she can't do that, then she's just good as dead, right? So if you do this kind of thing with her, it kills her, it prevents her from being a nuisance in your backline, it does a ton for your team. And even if you know that she's lurking around a corner, right? It's super useful to know, because especially on Hanamura, like see how fast she just melts?
So
She doesn't even have she doesn't even have the opportunity to react to that. It's just a one-shot combo. The same thing you can do with Junkrat. So yeah, that's just a cool thing. Just be wary of that. It's also with if something's damage boosted and discorded, if you're damage boosted and they're discorded, you can also pull off the same combo on 200 HP targets, I believe. That's also, but that's way more situational. Sorry, I'm just gonna pour myself a little bit of water. My throat is killing me. Oh.
A lot of talking today.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, do you guys have any questions about the rockets or anything like that?
No.
Also, I want you guys to note, her rocket it does damage from the center of it. So if, Tripit, can you stand on the statue, like right here in the bush? Right there. If I shoot her like here, she's not gonna take damage because of it. Do you see that, guys? Even though she's in the explosion itself, the center of the rocket does not have line of sight of her, so it does not do any damage. It has to have line of sight, or else it won't hurt her. Yeah, that's just something to note. It works the same way as diva bombs. Like the center is what matters the most.
Oops.
Okay.
Just a
Suddenly, a
cool
lot of
little
missed rockets make a whole lot more sense.
Right?
Yeah.
right? The same thing happens with railings. So if you catch the other end of the railing, that's what ends up blocking the whole explosion. It's really
Okay.
stupid, but yeah, that's what it is.
That's obnoxious.
Right. That's why you always
Do
gotta destroy the
Junkrat bombs
railings.
do the same thing?
Yep, I
Okay.
believe so. But they're a bit more temperamental with how they bounce, so it's less likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're less direct.
So let's go on to her barrage. Now let's talk a little bit about how you can use it without signing your death warrant.
But I like signing it.
But I take 2 people with me.
Yeah.
And that's totally worth it. But what if you can take 2 and survive yourself? And
That
then
would be
lock them?
nice.
It's not as fun.
It's not as fun.
It makes the sacrifice worth it.
A fun little story, guys. What did you guys hear about the Pharah buff, where she now gets a full reloaded gun after her barrage?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a new buff, and they buffed a lot of other heroes so that they do the same thing. Roadhog is one. But I just wondered, wait, doesn't Pharah always have a full clip when coming out of spawn?
So it's basically like the Deadeye now, where you can just use it for
Pretty much, press Q to respawn.
Yeah, pretty much.
But essentially, what you can do, you have to be wary of how to not die. Don't die for it. But it's a, it's a combination of knowing the enemy like attack ranges. It's a combination of that, knowing their abilities, knowing what's up or not, and knowing how to strategize with your team and how to position yourself so you limit as many angles as possible. Say I see all of you up there, right? But I want to barrage this McCree. What I would do is just barrage down here, so that if anyone wants to chase me, they have to specifically dip into my line of sight, so that they can actually get to me, instead of just like being in free sight line of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can also, if I see a Tracer or something on the ground, if I see a team comp with like Tracer, Zarya, Doomfist, I'm gonna try to barrage as high as I possibly can. And even though this is a longer time to kill, it makes it so that I'm very, very likely to survive it, just because they literally can't reach me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if they have a McCree or a soldier and I need to kill them fast, and something, they have a much better range damage and they have much better evasion. Soldier example can just like hold sprint and kind of jump through your barrage and survive it. It's dumb, but it's a thing. You have to be much lower, and you just essentially one-shot them before they get the chance to do anything.
Okay.
And another thing you can always ask for, always ask your Zarya for a bubble. Ask your Zarya for a bubble, Brigitte for armor, Diva for defense matrix, and it's always super, super helpful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask? Do
Yeah, of
you
course.
recommend to have the Mercy damage boost you or heal you while you're doing it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, that's very dependent on the situation. If you barrage into a grav, right, and if it's like a 4-man, 5-man grav,
Mm-hmm.
that can single-handedly gain Mercy like 60% of her ults. It's insane.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's really, really good. It can gain her so much just from damage boosting that. So if it's a graviton like that and you have a Zarya, just coordinate with the bubble and get Mercy to damage boost, because it's going to be way better for her, and way better for you in the long run too. Everything gets chewed through, especially if they even if they have a Transcendence, Barrage chews through it on its own. If it's damage boosted, then they don't even have a chance.
Okay.
But they have to be like static for a Barrage to go through on. But okay, and then and in the cases where it's not a grav though, you would probably want Mercy to heal you. You just want to live as long as you can before you die.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any more questions about the barrage in particular? I can go through.
Can we
some more
fire
resources.
hours?
What are some of the tricks that you use when barraging when there's a diva?
When there's
Because I know
Diva,
I see a lot of
okay.
heroes die to diva.
Okay. Trippy, could you go Diva real quick?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Diva now only has 2 seconds of F in chat. Diva now only has 2 can you hold up your defense matrix? It's only 2 seconds. So the most she can eat is 2 rockets. And it feels like way longer, but that's it. And can you put it up again? I know that as soon as it's down, I have free reign to barrage, and she can't put it back up for a second. The
But what
thing
about
is-
if the diva's diving on you?
Okay, we can go into that in just a little bit. With Diva's defense matrix, it actually does have a 1-second cooldown when she puts it down. So if you can catch it as soon as it goes away, even if she doesn't use it all, like right as it goes away, she can't do very much about it, and then she just dies,
Okay.
and you'll be all set. But when she dives at you, I know a lot of divas that are really good at this. They can one-shot you by using the boosters micro missiles combo. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What you essentially can do, fly at me, trip it, and try to kill me.
Whoop.
You can go with the flow and try to knock yourself back, or conversely, if she has defense matrix up, instead of knocking the E at her, use the environment around you. So go again. That's an honest.
Little blooper there.
Drony. I think it was a little bit too far, but wait, try that again. Try that again. The important thing in this matchup is that you just have to have your cooldowns. You just have to have your cooldowns, and it's going to be hard for her to reach you after, because as long as you can, if she closes the distance, as long as you can make the distance there again, then you'll be all right. Also, Diva Bomb can be knocked back by your concussive blast, even if it's midair. Do you want to launch it at midair?
Wow, it's actually I don't actually have it yet.
Oh.
Shoot, you guys
Oh,
still
shit, some.
Because your cooldowns are.
I'm not a diva player. If it's any indication.
Oh, sorry. Wrong button.
Oh shoot, I spawned fire. Okay, yeah, I'll be back.
Oh, let's have it.
Awesome.
All right, I've got it. Where do you want me to?
Oh no.
Just like shoot it straight up, I guess.
Oh God!
No! Wait, that didn't work?
It didn't go to it.
Wait, did it?
That was a direct hit.
That was. Did they change that?
I mean, I've never been able to do it, but
Hang on.
maybe
I've
hold
been
on.
able to do it like
Do a
once.
stationary bomb and see if that.
I think it has to be in the
Like so
trajectory
much
though.
ult charge.
Farah's
Just stand on that health pack, please.
I believe it is possible. I've seen it. Did they patch that then? I wonder.
It might have been, or it could be it's a bug now.
All right, I've got it.
Maybe. Awesome.
ready?
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it has to.
Oh,
Alright.
I was totally far enough
No,
away.
I'm
That's
sorry.
dumb.
Huh.
Oh, I spawned right here. We're good.
So hang on. What if you do it? What if it's in the middle of you firing
Slide
it?
it. Slide it along the thing so we can see if it does move off of this thing.
The previous 2 times haven't worked. Weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
I can take it.
That's okay.
I should have like increased the ult. Okay, I've got it. What did you want me to do?
Small
Something
Korean
ridiculous, right?
murders light up Egyptian woman in cold rage.
Launch it from the health pack towards the wall on the ground so we can see if we
Okay.
can off the ledge.
Go for it. Okay, so they patched that. They patched that then.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for the
yeah.
misinformation. Yeah. You should
Well,
do
now we
that.
know.
We know now. Yeah, that's awesome.
Don't try to boop the bomb away. Just boop yourself out of range.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that. I swear that used to be a thing, but unfortunately,
I'm sure
no.
it did. Because there's other things that can boop Diva Bomb.
Yeah, of
but-
course. Including flashbang. Did you know you could flash it out of its trajectory?
Really?
No.
You can. You can flash it out. But anyway, let's leave that for the McCree coach.
Well, isn't that just like it counts as a
Oh,
stun against Diva though?
Yeah, I guess so.
So it stops
Guess so.
it. I think
Mhm.
that's part of what it is.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about her positioning next. Okay, so positioning usually for Farah consists of staying around corners, not just of buildings, but corners of ledges as well, like this.
Actually,
this
sorry,
and
I just
syncing
need
the
to
recordings and
restart.
stuff.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
So it doesn't kick us.
At the 30, we're at the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And okay, so not only playing against those corners, you need to be very aware of if there's a target you want to go for, you want to kind of throw them off, right? You don't want to peek in the same spot twice. So if I'm trying to fight this McCree, I'm gonna try to get up a shot there, try to get up a shot there, and drop, and then go all in, so on and so forth. I can't hit jump spammers. There we go. But yeah, that's one thing you need to note is just always be close to cover, because I notice a lot of Pharahs that stay way too out in the open, and it just gives like if I
can
if I
fly,
just play
they
out in
can't
the
shoot
open,
me.
if I just play out in the open against McCree, try to kill me, it's gonna be so easy for the McCree to get me.
Yeah.
Instant.
I will probably never make that shot again ever, so.
That was really good though. So instead, what I need to do is perhaps flank this McCree. Perhaps get the first rocket down on him before he sees me, and then use my jump jets to avoid that flashbang and kill him before he's able to. Or I could use burst of speed to make myself harder to hit. So if McCree, if you could position on the stairs up top this time. Oh, that's a long walk.
Yeah, I know. I didn't give myself the rolls, so I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Hey Jinx, welcome to the stream. And hey everyone.
These stairs?
Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so what I can do is I can use this jump pad and then my E for that burst of speed and kill the McCree that way. It's incredibly hard to kill a Pharah when she's moving that fast. And if you can just chain your movement like so, then it makes it really hard for Hitscan to hit you, just because of the sheer speed. And okay, another thing, I play a very flank heavy Pharah. I think it's kind of necessary in the elo I play at, just because if everything's looking at you head on, you kind of just die. And if you don't kind of sneak out and shit, you can't really get away with it. But if you are a bit more cheeky, right? If you're a bit more cheeky with your tactics, you go for shots that aren't very honorable, and you you sneak and try to get that first rocket off before they get their shots on you. That's the biggest part, because again, it's part of the psychological thing too. With the Pharah shooting into you guys, you hear the sound, right? It's very intimidating, very loud, and it's super heavy. But with that, you have to keep in mind, if you can get that first rocket off, you can, if your enemies aren't confident, you can honestly set them off in this panic mode, especially if it's a Widowmaker. You'll know she's in panic mode if she starts to SMG you. But alright, what was it talking about? We can talk about flanks in more detail if we get on a certain map, but let's talk a little bit about counters. So McCree, you don't have to be too scared about. If you approach him, the main thing is just dodging his flashbang, and that's really simple. If you
Stop shooting me!
if you dodge the flashbang by using jump jet, and I thought you were gonna flash me. That's why.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought it. I wasn't even sure where you were.
That's okay. But while we're waiting for McCree to set up again, with Soldier, the main thing you have to be afraid of is his Helix rocket. So until that Helix rocket is gone, I don't want you to get too close to him, because it makes it really easy to hit you there. Because think of it like that: it's the equivalent of taking a direct rocket, but then all the other follow-up shots are hits again. So you're kind of really screwed in that case.
And they're so much faster than rockets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like 2 headshots and a body shot, I think. That's all he needs to complete afterward. So, aside from that, Soldier is a fairly easy target. If you can catch him off without his healing station, without his Helix rocket, you should always be watching out for those two. If he uses them, dive him. He's a much weaker target. He's like a Tracer without any mobility. But Anyway, back to McCree. If you drop into his line of sight, you know that he's gonna flash you immediately. So just feels bad. Feels bad. Let's try that again. If you drop into his line of sight, jump jet immediately so that if he does flash, it'll be cancelled right away. Oh, he missed this time. But if it does catch you, your momentum will be carried upwards, and it will be a very, very hard shot for the McCree to hit. Conversely, if you can hold a corner against him, even if the flashbang does hit, they're gonna have to turn a corner to be able to hit that shot, and it just makes things all the harder.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing you have to worry about with McCree, but also just be wary of when these hits can flank themselves, because if they do, especially at lower elos, if they flank, it always means an ultimate. It always means an ultimate. It means nothing else. You're not gonna kill your entire team without the use of it. Just
Yes.
just be in team comms and just be telling your teammates, yo, he's gonna ult, get to cover, and yeah. So if they die, you know it's not your fault. But
Yeah. The eye in the sky is reporting. Listen to it.
but the next thing is Widowmaker. The biggest trouble for all Fire players. But she's actually, for me personally, she's the easiest for me to kill, because her attention span is incredibly easy to beat and incredibly easy to take it down. So let me show you what I mean by that. When Widowmaker is looking at a certain direction, say she's looking at this tower of fires right there, and she's scoping one of them. And she's just taking pot shots at them. She's trying to kill them. Right? She doesn't see anything else that's above her or around her or behind her. Even if she's quick scoping in and out of it and jumping around between shots, she's not gonna see certain things at certain angles. Especially if I approach her from angles like this. Right? So if I can get a rocket off and then a second one, she's instantly dead, and it poses very little risk. And if I can just tell my team, hey, I'm gonna take care of the Widowmaker as soon as she grapples up to shoot you guys, just play safe and try to craft spam and avoid her shots. Don't take her on, I'll kill her. And just let them know that, so your teammates have the best chance of surviving, and you'll have the best chance of killing the Widow, because she's gonna be super distracted. And beyond that, you want to be careful of how you approach her too, because anything that Widowmaker has line of sight on, anywhere where you can see her is a kill zone. Just know that. Pretend like this Widowmaker has wall hacks. If she can see you, then you're kind of really spot. So what I want you to do is minimize the time she sees you, but instead be very fast with your attacks on her, so that if she does try to go for a shot, she has very little time to adjust. She's going to have to flick her camera a ton if she wants to go for the shot, or she has to scope out and then re-aim it and then charge it up just barely enough. So it's going to be a very difficult shot to hit. Okay, but another thing you need to note with Widowmaker. What was the thing? If you are caught out at a long range, if you are peeking at her and you're trying to find out where she is, I'm caught out in this situation all the time, so it's extremely relevant. But if I see this Widowmaker and I'm here, right, and I can't really dive her, I don't have my cooldowns or anything, I'm just gonna look away, so my hitbox is much harder for it to hit. Look at me, guys. If I'm here, right? If I'm here, look at how big that head hitbox is. But if I turn around, look at how tiny that becomes. See that? And when I'm flying, it makes even more of a difference to that Widowmaker.
You barely
right?
see your head when you've got your
You can
rocket.
barely see that. So this ensures, almost ensures that you only take body shots, and it's really important for your survivability, because at this range, you're pretty much just afraid of getting one shot. If you have a support with you, you can just dip into cover close enough, and if you have that good positioning, you can just dip down below somewhere.
The same
Did you
trick
heal that?
works with like Winston and stuff when you're diving a Widow.
Yeah, exactly.
a lot
It's
of my
called like
friends
butt jumping, right?
Flip her around and just fly backwards with their butt.
Pretty much.
Sit on her.
Naughty Phoenix.
Okay.
My mouse was in another window.
All right, let's take this a little bit more to, let's talk a little bit about healing and how you can work with different healer comps. I also want to talk a little bit about tank comps if you guys are interested in that. But
Always.
Trippet, could you take us over to what map could we
Yes.
do? Could you take us over to Hanamura? Let's do Hanamura.
Is oh my gosh. Is deathmatch gonna give us enough room on Hanamura? Do you want me to switch it to assault or control, whatever it is? I'll just
Yeah, I
switch
think
it.
deathmatch is fine. Yeah, deathmatch is fine. Where does justice rain from again?
Below?
I started it. I feel so bad, but that was amazing.
I mean, we were switching maps. It's okay.
It's all good. Okay, everyone go fire again. Now let's talk a little bit about healer comps, alright? So, we were on another map earlier, but I just want to give some variety so so you guys have different points of reference, I guess, and different things to look at. So,
Where are we
okay,
meeting?
so imagine we're just in the courtyard.
First point.
Imagine we are on defense right now, and we have a Ana healing up. So Ana and Zen are both excellent at healing Farah, provided they have line of sight. That's the biggest thing. Line of sight is it. So if your Ana is in the back house over there, if she's stationed back there with the soul, if they have like a very divey comp, that's where she would win, just because that area is very hard to dive in comparison to somewhere on the ground. So what you need to be aware of before the round even starts is just like look in that area and see what kind of cone you can really work in. You can play in up to here, from this range to about like here, so that Ana can see you. Otherwise, she just loses line of sight. If you drop here, she can't. Drop here, barely. Right, so you have to be up higher, and so on and so forth. You might have to play a little bit further back, just to be aware of this kind of thing. Now, on the other hand, if your Ana is for some reason on point, also be aware of that and just position yourself accordingly so you don't make it so hard for it to shoot you. Now with Mora and Lucio, they're both AoE healers in the sense that you have to be within like 10 meters for them to help you, and that can be really difficult. I've had a few like higher level Lucios, they like wall right up here with me along this roof and speed boost me, and it's super OP. And so you can just die widows and kill them super quickly. But if they don't do that, then you're pretty much left to do your own thing. With Mora Lucio, you have to kind of play in a style where you go off and do your own thing, and then you come back, and then you recharge, and then you go again. But with Mora, if she throws you an orb, just chase it. That's the only thing to note. And another cool thing you can note with Mora's Coalescence. Mora's Coalescence, it blocks a lot of the screen, right? You guys can all contest to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even with the changes
You know,
to it still.
Yeah, exactly, especially to the enemy. And you know how you can use that to your advantage? Tell her to pocket you as you're moving in against a hit scan and just track them. And just like tell them to train it on the hit scan, and you just play inside of that beam. It's gonna be so hard for them to hit you because it's just so disturbing, and they have the more damage in their face and everything else, and they just melt. So this is especially useful for diving a Widowmaker who's proven to be especially good. Like if you're attacking the Widowmaker, right? Tell your Mora to Coalescence at the gate. Now you have this clear path to go for the Widowmaker, and she can barely see. It's a very difficult shot. Yeah, just a cool little note. Let's move on. Brigitte is also really cool with Farah, but she can't be the only support, obviously. That's like commonly known. One thing you should note about her armor is when you get rally armor from Brigitte, if you do have the full 300 armor that she provides, that 100 armor actually blocks 200 damage of like hit scan pellets or Winston damage. Like Winston damage, Diva, any of the hit scans, Bastion, anything with like small pellet damage, like Tracer, Sombra, everything like that, the damage gets halved essentially by armor. Isn't that cool? So you have to be very wary to not waste that armor before you actually take a fight. So if you have that armor, don't poke. Save it for the fight itself. And just use that to your advantage, because it pretty much turns you into a 400 HP hero. That's what it does. That's the damage they need to do to you to actually take it away. Unless you get hit by some kind of like chunky damage like Fire Strike or a Fire Rocket, it'll be fine. So now onto the combo we all know and love, Pharah Mercy. So with Pharah and Mercy, it's the best healer combo a Pharah could ever hope for, and for good reason. You have such good such good synergy with your Mercy. But an issue is a lot of Pharahs aren't considerate enough to helping out their Mercies and kind of forget about her and leave her off to die. And sometimes Mercy will complain about, no, you left me, you lost line of sight. You always have to be careful about that.
Big
Like,
mood right there.
if you're crossing this window as an attacker, you have to be sure Mercy has. You always tell her beforehand, so you don't get disappointed if she can't follow you. And in addition to that, if she does get killed, always be sure to come back for her. Like if she respawns here and you're attacking, come back just in case she gets spawn camped, because that's entirely a possibility. So help her out. Help her out in any way you can, including positioning yourself in fights to give her always a way out. By that I mean, know that if you're hovering at this elevation, Pharah, your Mercy is always going to be lower than you, because she's going to GA up, she can bunny hop a little bit, but she's always going to sink down before her next GA. And just know that she's going to be the primary target if you guys are running Pharmacy. So always be looking to position yourself in ways that help her out. So if you're attacking on Hanamura now, if you're attacking, you just came through the window, position yourself over here, so if your Mercy GAs and bunny hops over, she can reach this back area, and suddenly she has no heat. She can self-heal and everything and recharge without getting hurt. And at the same time, if you fly around back here, just tell your Mercy, hey, stay on the roof over here so they can't hurt you. And she's just completely safe, because unless they have a Pharah or a Widowmaker that grapples up here super confident, she can't get hurt. Just like little things like that. Yeah, and positioning yourself, like even if you're in the middle of a fight, get yourself to this window, so if your Mercy is on the other side, she really needs a way out from the Orion, trying to smash her into the wall, don't let him. Just stay here, give her a way out, and it'll be all good. Yeah, does anyone have any questions regarding that?
No.
No.
No? All good? Nothing?
No, just got a lot of hoping that your Mercy can also be competent to do that.
No, just queue with someone you trust, right? And if
Oh,
you're someone
absolutely.
who works with you and who you play with a lot, the more you do that kind of thing. Because if a Mercy's caught out in a corner or caught out in a bad spot, she's always going to be looking for targets to GA to. And if you're always there for her, and like this shining beacon of like this magical positioning where it's away from any enemy, and it's just great, she's gonna love you, and it's gonna be awesome.
There's nothing
So-
scary next to you.
Mhm.
No
Precisely.
Rhinehammers in range.
All right, and another thing I want to note, if you guys could join me at the Mega out here on the edge, join me out here. Now, because I play like a very flank heavy Pharah, I do have to use health packs a lot. But when I do have my team supporting me, when I do have a teammate with me, and there's another DPS that I need to kill, especially if it's a flanker who also relies on health packs, what I kind of like to do is because Pharah has self-damage, very few heroes in this game have self-damage, but she does, and what you can do is damage yourself and steal this health pack away from the Tracer before she can just like blink into it and take it, right?
That's
And
a good idea.
what that does is it takes away her sustain, it takes away her ability to just like to use her blinks to like dodge around you and to tank rockets. So it makes her easier to kill.
Oh
And
my
it makes
god, I
her more
never
scared.
would have thought of that. That's so genius.
Yeah, there's some really cool things. What are some other things I can think of on this specifically? Oh, one thing you can do if you come back here and you're kind of stuck and your team all died, you can essentially cycle your hover completely to just hide on this roof, and no one in the world can shoot you. Nobody. You're completely safe unless they go back to their first spawn and they shoot you as a widow. You're completely safe. But yeah, this does take some practice. This is something if you do wanna learn it, something definitely worth practice. But it just gives you time to just hang around here and be a worry in the enemy's minds, and just stay here until your team is ready to push again. Yeah. What else? What else can I think about? Another really cool thing. This map specifically, but also a lot of other 2CP maps. Not 2CP. Sorry. Control maps. King of the Hill. King of the Hill has a lot of kill potential. So I'll come to the edge here. What you can do as a defender or an attacker, this both works. Both of these work. Is when the enemy are trying to clean up on a fight and they're getting greedy. This still works in GM, I kid you not. This still works in still works in GM, so people don't get smarter against this. But what you can do is bait them to the edge here, so the enemies think you're gonna fall off and act like you are, and then just come back up and concussive blast all of them off, and then they just fall. If there's a Reinhardt, what you can do instead of putting it on the ground, instead of doing it on the ground, what you can do instead is shoot it on the bell, and that'll still knock everyone off if they're standing
Oh,
right
nice.
Wow.
because of the range.
Good idea.
Yeah, do you see that? It's pretty crazy. It's amazing. And this works on a bunch of maps, so just be wary of your environment and think of everything that the enemy might be trying to accomplish, and turn that against them. It's super useful. If they're close enough, you can also use that edge, but I think more reliable, it's easy. Yeah, I'm thinking of other stuff. What other stuff can I imagine? This map. There's really nothing else I can think for this one specifically. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for this map. But okay, do you guys have any questions in general? We have time to take a bunch of questions now. If you guys are interested.
I had, because I'm a hit scan main, I kind of had an awkward question, which would be like, do you have any advice for hit scan people against a Pharah?
Swap. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't be the one everybody yells at to kill her.
I mean, not everyone's at your level. Come on.
Oh, sorry, Trippin.
Oh,
Man,
that's okay.
That was a big thing, but I just didn't
Hit
know if there
scans?
was. Yeah.
Okay, remember what I talked about the higher the fire is against you, the harder it is to aim, just because of how like the cone works and how just like aiming in that 3D dimension works. You can diminish that by getting high ground yourself and making sure that Pharahs have a hard time dealing with you. Because if you can get up here as soldier, if you're a confident soldier and the Pharah you're going against is not particularly confident.
Oh, sorry.
If she gets on skybox, right? If she's up here, the angle is still really close to where you are, so you're basically shooting her like head on, and it's going to be much easier for you to hit her versus you being on here. And there's a way that you can get up here with just a single rocket jump, and then you can just walk up on this ledge here.
Yeah,
Jump, I
I've done
think.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need
Also,
all the help I can
hit
get
scan-
against
what's-
Pharahs.
What hit scan exactly do you play?
I'm a Korean soldier.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I do better against Pharahs with McCree, but I don't know
That's
why.
understandable. With soldier, you pretty much have to nail her with the helix to guarantee the kill. That's the biggest. But with McCree, yeah, McCree's good. McCree's gonna be really good at the. Do we have any other questions?
Oops, sorry.
So if you're pretty good at dealing with the DPS side of things, what kind of things about enemy teams frustrate you the most?
Oh my god. Ooh, you just open up Pandora's box. I hope you know that. Well, let's see. When everybody looks at me and I just get a Discord on me, and then I get a D.Va on me, and then I get a Winston on me, and then everything's just looking at me, and I just second, and then everyone goes far swap, but it's not my issue because my team is moving up. It's just so painful.
Uh-huh.
I think I've grown a bit of reputation for being that Pharah player. That Pharah player. And
That far.
and everyone just goes all in to make my games hell, so I don't get to have fun. And and that kind of like, to remedy that, I just need a bit of teamwork on my end to just match their teams. And
So what kind of like tank play do you find Pharah synergizes with the best? We can
tank
talk about
play, you mean?
support. Yeah, tank play.
Oh, okay. I personally am okay with Rein Zarya, Ryan Zarya on some maps, though, especially on Gibraltar. Gibraltar, you feel it because of the spaceship and how hit skins
Yeah.
can just perch up there, and Ryan Zarya can't do anything against that. If you run that comp, you do get a lot of value from comboing with your Zarya and just from her being bubble you when you dive the hit scans. And if you play with Winston Diva, that's even better because the bubble is like literally a zone of space, and it can zone out a hit scan. If Winston can drop a bubble above a hit scan, it pretty much limits them for a good 2-3 seconds until they step out or decide to break it or something. That's really important. And with Diva, it's also really good synergy because, like Zarya, she can protect you for a good 2 seconds with her defense matrix, especially if you coordinate with her and Q with her a lot. I'm losing my voice.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. But yeah, the worst combo for Pharah, Huggerissa by far. but Arista's still good because you can use her pulls as like mini gravitons. It's very useful. Be watching out for it, especially if she's firing it out from afar. Just follow it, and then as soon as she pulls it, just barrage into it. It's usually like a double or triple killer at least.
Yeah.
And yeah. Any other questions regarding that? The main issue with Pharah is as at high elos and at low elos too, when you die a lot, it's mainly just because the enemy team is focusing. Because like, I know how to position, I know how to stay safe, but if I'm crossing this area, if I use my concussive blast here, right, and I literally get melted in the time it takes me, then what do I do? Another thing I can usually do if they do run snow is instead of going for that roof where I would usually be dead, I would use both my jump jet and my concussive to get on this roof where nothing can shoot me, and then I just wait for my team held into the Reinhardt from their back on their back line, and Widow can't do anything from this line of sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of. Your tanks need to make space in the sense that a lot of people wonder, like, what the hell is space? Like, I didn't know what that meant newer to the game too, and it was really confusing. But the best way to sum it up would just be to take attention and resources.
Make them look at you.
Exactly, because if enemy hit scans are shooting into your Rhine shield, then they aren't shooting you, and if enemy supports are discording your high charge Zarya and healing their frontline because there's so much damage going on in the frontline, then they aren't using like nades and sleeps and discords and stuff on you, and you're more free to do your own. And the same thing applies, right? That's how a tank makes space. But yeah, when that doesn't happen, it's absolute hell for me.
Yeah.
Because you just get no. Any other questions?
Yeah, do you have any Pharah v Pharah tips?
Fire tips. Okay. One thing is, if you are confident with the air shots, then... Or are we doing the battle?
Oh, I'm just doing that.
If you're confident with air shots, go for them. Get close into the other Pharah's face, kill them, right? Just 2-tap them. And if you're confident with that, do it. Because you'll take them out of the fight, and it'll be super effective. But if you are not, keep your distance, but she'll still shoot the Pharah a few times to get her attention and make her shoot you. This is super effective against me because I get really tunneled in the Pharahs.
You get competitive a little bit.
I do. I'm just like, there can only be one. And the issue with that, when the enemy Pharah does shoot you and doesn't hit any of her shots because you're fully intent on dodging her and shooting him instead, what that does is you kind of just tank. You kind of act as a tank for your entire team, and you single-handedly take all of that Pharah's damage on yourself. And and if she has a mercy with her, even better, because now you're taking the resources of 2 people on yourself and you're not dying. That's so huge, right? Meanwhile, you're getting all of your damage off on the tanks, and they have a severe disadvantage in that.
That's something that I've definitely noticed when like you start to get people going double hit scan and then suddenly you have triple hit scan. It's like your entire enemy team is defending all of their resources into people who can't aim at Pharah.
Exactly. Exactly, especially like that's what made gold so fun.
Yeah.
It's because when everyone goes hit scan, that's when the team crumbles. That's when
Yep.
everything falls apart because no one knows what they're doing.
Because they're investing so much instead of supporting the one person who can shoot at you, they're trying to do it themselves.
Exactly. But yeah. Any more questions? One tip I can give you against Farah v Farah. Someone try to shoot me. Try to shoot me out here. Just one of you. Just one of you. Just one of you. See how that second shot is really hard to hit? As soon as you take a first rocket, dip. Like dip in elevation. Just let go of your jump. Like let go of your fuel entirely. Shoot me again. Just try to shoot me once. I'm staying still. I'm staying still. See how hard the second shot is to like. I'm purposely trying to dodge now. Try to hit me. I'm purposely trying to dodge every shot. And the way you do this is by tricking the enemy Pharah, because when an enemy Pharah flies left, right, left, right, left, right, the way you circumvent that and the way you survive against it is just to not fall into that pattern, because that's when Pharahs are really easy to two-tap. Instead, what you do is you can trick them and hold the same position. You just literally hover in place. That's one thing you can do. Try to shoot me again. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just go left, right, left, right. There's one. And then the second shot will be harder to hit because you don't know where I'm going, right? And then another thing is just to like drop out of the sky immediately so that you end up on a whole different plane. And instead of eating the rocket, why do I keep spawning so far away? I'm always on the other side of the lab. Holy damn. Holy damn. Okay. Alright. So back to that. Yeah, those are some little tips as to how you can avoid damage. Avoiding damage in a Pharah 1v1 is just as important as hitting your shots, because even if you don't die, that's a big advantage for you.
Yeah. Because you're still
Any
going to
other-
shoot at.
Any other questions?
I think we're probably good to for you to go to the training range now if you want.
Okay, just making sure. No more questions?
Can we barrage?
That as well.
Go
At
for
the
it.
same time.
Holy moly.
Please tell me you got that, Shelby.
Alright, so into the training range then?
Wait, no, I need to die first. Okay, we're good.
Awesome.
Oh.
Alright,
So
I'll
we've
see you
got
guys on the
a-
stream.
Yeah, there's a link to her stream in the events chat. Just scroll up a little bit. It's above the Tower of Pharaohs.
Alright. Oh my gosh.
Alright, okay. So I'm going to show you a practice range routine that kind of wraps up everything we talked about today, including like leading long-range shots, short-range shots, air shots, using your concussive blast to knock things around, managing your fuel, managing your jump jet, everything in one. It's pretty cool. Okay, you ready, guys?
Mhm.
Y'all in here?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what this essentially is you hover in this square of the training range where there's no floor, essentially, and you have to absolutely manage your fuel, otherwise you die. And what you do during this is you try to hit long-range shots on the bots across them. And what this does is it helps train your shot leading. It helps you get a good feel of like how far you need to land each shot. And in between that, I want you to do these like air shot practices on that bot right there. And the way you do that is by sending a rocket and then a concussive blast at the feet of the bot, not in the corner, but at the feet. And what that does is, since it's flying, it gives you the opportunity to do air shots. So again, let's not miss this time. Let's not miss this time, she says. But okay. All right.
Cool.
What this is really good for is it helps you multitask. It helps you really get everything internalized. If you find it hard at the very start, don't get discouraged. Just like try to do less at a time. Just focus on one thing at a time, and then you'll be fine. Just double your shots. And if that's a bit too hard, it's okay. Just tone it down a little bit. Use just a single concussive blast in the corner and get a good feel of how far it sends them and how far you need to lead it. I haven't thought. But yeah, and be careful to not only just practice on this side, but also on the reverse end. So if you do it on like that, just it's good for practicing those flicks and good for learning air shots like that. And once you get pretty good with this and you think you're ready for a challenge, I want you guys to do this. Press Alt X, turn off your HUD, and do this without any visual indicator of your cooldowns, your crosshair,
Oh no.
anything like that. And
This
still
is
try to
good.
get the kills and
No.
everything. It's doable. It's absolutely doable. And
You
now I
have
my
high
judge it now.
expectations.
Something to work up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually really. I've never thought about
Mm.
turning off the HUD.
I
just to
can't turn off
practice.
my head. I'm
I
too
could see that
scared.
being useful for a lot of
keep missing
characters,
them.
though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, widows do it too.
because
Oh.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time managing my Ana cooldowns. I'm always like, "Where's my nade? Where's my nade?"
Right.
Same. We're like, oh no, I need to reload. Die. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh my goodness, Tycho. Tycho, thank you so much for the bits. I will thank you. Right. Hang on. Okay, so this is again just really good practice for air shots and for internalizing everything. And I would really, really recommend this if you want to play more Pharah, because it really, you don't want to be thinking about your fuel when you're in the middle of a fight, right? You don't want to be thinking about, okay, shit, I'm gonna fall out of the sky now. No, I didn't want this. Not like this. No, you don't want to be having that train of thought. You want to be thinking, okay, Widowmaker's here. What do I need to do to kill Widowmaker? Okay, she's dead. Okay, now soldier. But yeah, I think it's I just think it's super useful, and I hope this kind of thing helps you out. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about all of this?
This is really helpful.
Yeah, thank you
Oh,
so much.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I
Always
guess
my
that'll
pleasure.
Thank you
that'll
so
wrap
much.
up our Farah DBU class. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you so much, Fareeha, for instructing. That was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
my pleasure. I'm always happy to help. I cannot hit that. Heck.
We all
And
have
for any of you latecomers, it was streamed on Fareeha's Twitch and the Death Blossoms GG Twitch, so you can check them out there. But yeah, thanks guys. That should be it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Weekend.
Thank you.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Love you guys.